I'm Ben Goldman, painter, oil on canvas. I was always making things in high school, but I took my first painting course at Vassar, and it was just, you know, I was like home. So this is like an example of one of the ways that I make my work. Take a snapshot, and you know, I look at it and think, well, maybe I could do something with all that dark space. And I was also had been thinking for a while about paisley, and found this on the internet, a dress, paisley dress. So I just chopped and pasted them on the computer and came up with this.
Emma.
Did you take a picture of me when I birthed?
Well, I'm married and I have two little girls, 6 and 3, Emma and Brina, and my wife is Lois.
Bye-bye, Mommy.
Bye-bye, sweetie. When I first met Ben, he was not a full-time artist, but he always painted. In fact, the first date that Ben and I had, he showed up with blue paint under his nails, which I guess, if he hadn't been so charming, might have been a real turn-off.
The first job I got in New York was working for a place called the Council on Economic Priorities. My work really began with doing military economics. Military economics. I was running an organization in Boston. I was a professor at Tufts University teaching courses. I was an advisor to the Clinton administration, flying down to Washington every other week practically. I was really at the top of my game, and I was not enjoying my life.
I think he had gone as far as he could. He's always somebody that needs a new challenge. And I don't think that he was feeling challenged anymore.
You know, I went and talked to people and to figure out what was going on. And it took me about a year, talking to a career counselor and a shrink and my wife and anyone who would listen. And you know, I guess towards the end of the year, my counselors were basically trying to convince me that, you know, that I could do this crazy thing that was kind of in the back of my head, which was to paint pictures. I had always thought that the only people that became artists were people that couldn't do anything else. And really what happened in my mid-30s was I couldn't do anything else. And it wasn't like I wanted that to happen, but it just did. Part of what I did that year was figured out how much money I needed to make for the rest of my life, basically to support myself and my family.
Ben has always been a very good provider. And so financially, I had to take a leap of faith, which is really what it was. I mean, we had some savings, and you know, and I bring in some money. So I guess I figured that if we really needed money, we would figure out a way.
So I've taken out some paintings to show you. This is one of my favorite paintings, and it's fairly simple. It's just the juxtaposition of two different images, which are very different stylistically. One has a kind of illustrational look to it, and then in the background, you know, there's a more vague image. For me, it's about race relations. This painting is called Save Me, and this painting really began as a kind of landscape. And for me now, this painting is kind of about loss. In the center there's a frog, and for a while there was a lot of publicity about frogs being an endangered creature. And here's an old iron being repaired, There's a guy on a scaffolding that is being rescued by firemen. This one's called Red Soldier. With a first glance, it looks like a fairly historical image of a general, I guess, with his troops. But in the background, if you look closely, it's got a kind of X-rated action going on. And so there's an element of censorship. So this painting has horseplay and leather and sex, and it's got all the charged elements you could ever want in a painting.
Ben almost has these bursts of brilliance. He really does.
There's some aspect of the creation that I find very rewarding, from going from a blank canvas with the fear that you won't be able to do anything right to watching something emerge and then finding it beautiful afterward. In some ways, my work is a reaction against this primordial human need to make sense. I try to juxtapose a lot of different kinds of elements that look like they come from all directions. You know, randomness is a big part of reality, and there is no meaning to some extent, and we have to make it. Hard for me to say why painting is so important to me. In some ways, to me, it's the pinnacle of human achievement, of what we can do here. It's almost like the meaning of life.